Hey viewers, if you're listening to this on release day, mark your calendar to check out Ladies of Lore tomorrow. That show's host, India, is going to be releasing another collab episode with RPG Major, this one about fairy queens. As always, India shares the fruits of her research and tells stories masterfully. For me, hearing her and Camilla nerd out about the Coddingsley fairy hoax was a real treat. And for those of you who are not listening on release day, it's episode 39. Go check it out. We'll be starting a new mystery next week with a guest I think you're really gonna love. But today's episode is the second of the 2 flashbacks we recorded almost a year ago. I hope you enjoy this look into history, Aubrey and the Great Grey. We find Aubrey walking towards the ruins in Ruins Park, searching for a lost dog. As she approaches, we can see that the sky is gray and overcast, and she approaches these metal forms in the park that get called the ruins. Rising against the sky are these structures that look like they could be polished steel, in geometries that seem impossible when you look too closely at them. They look like the brainchild of Bruce Beasley and Richard Serra combined with the drawings of M.C. Escher, all polished and gleaming as smooth as Cloud Gate, also known as The Bean. In Chicago. The ruins combine fluted towers, slumped organic fungal shapes, polyhedrals joined, meandering. Some of them have openings, some there are pathways to walk in between, and anyone who's walked in between them gets this feeling of being invited in. And so Aubrey is here.
Gracie! Gracie! Hey, come! Gracie!
There is no response from Gracie. There's no baying, no barking, but the kids that you talked with said that that beagle went this way.
Yeah, and there's a reason why the kids didn't want to go in here. Because there's stories about what happens to kids who go in here. But that's what landscaper/private detectives are for. Finding dogs in mysterious ruins that call out to you.
As Aubrey steps into what gets called the maze, steel walls rising up along either side of her, forming a vaulted arch above her head, she walks in and starts to follow its convolutions.
The thing about this, I tell myself, as if I have any knowledge or authority over this place, is that if you try to think too hard about it, you won't find what you're looking for. You have to be aware of what's in the corner of your eye, because if you focus on it, it'll be gone. If you let yourself wander or follow where it leads, that's when you catch little patches of rust or little spots of moss growing or interesting little shafts of light that point out other entrances. It's only over those strange echoes of your own footfalls in the maze that you might hear a dog bark, maybe? Yeah, that's how it works.
Aubrey hears an echoing sound from deeper within, and it sounds like a party. It sounds like revels, and it calls back to mind a time where she was a queen.
Yeah, you always hear it when you're not looking for it, right? Normal that when I was here looking for this, trying above anything else to hear this sound, that I wouldn't hear it, and now that I'm trying to listen for a dog, there it is. Aubrey thinks back to the last time she heard this. There's a large hall, the long hall of the Autumn Lands, an old building made of wood, partly still alive, partly cut down and built, stretching up to the sky, through which the ceiling doesn't even exist. It's just boughs of trees and stars. And long tables with fires and food enough to go around because there's room for all in the long hall. And And at the tallest end, in a throne on the long table, there's a version of Aubrey, much taller, vaguely an adult maybe, but also ageless, wild with untamed hair that's also perfect and long in a wild way. She wears a crown on her head of marigolds and snapdragon flowers with little curls of pumpkin stems, and she holds in her hand a giant scepter made from a large desiccated poppy stem, so that just the pod remains. She has a cloak of browns and golds with two bright green wings of sulfur butterflies embroidered onto the back in iridescent thread. And in one hand, she holds the staff, the poppy scepter. In another, she picks up a large tankard of some sort of cider made from whatever was pulled from the fields that day, and leads the people of her court in revelry, as they do this time of year. This time of year that is year-round.
And dozens of creatures lift their glasses, toasting to their queen. You see anthropomorphic owls, badgers, porcupines. You see people who look like humans, but with finer features and longer limbs, and hair that seems to be blown by a wind that no one else is affected by. You see the smoke rising up from the fires, and little moths flitting, seeming to carry a bit of firelight with them and lighting up the upper reaches of the long hall.
With a toast to feast, for all are welcome here. The company against the chill of wind, the memory of what has been, and the awareness of what is in the future. In that moment we celebrate and remain.
A great chorus of "hear hears" rolls out from the crowd as cat knights and wingmen and crones and maidens raise their glass to their queen.
I take the scepter of Poppy and sort of slam the end down on the table, and the bonfire rises up brighter and higher than it was before in little sparks that seem to move up through the boughs of the tree and into the sky where they linger as stars.
And as the fires burning higher illuminate this hall, a door is kicked open and silence falls over the whole hall. Striding in, starting stooped to fit through the doorway, stretching up then to his full height, comes what looks to be a long, lean man, dressed in wool and leather, carrying with him a candle that is gray, burning with a sickly white fire. Aubrey recognizes him as Lantern Jack, having seemingly set aside his lantern today, and instead carrying this candle, calls out to her, "O Queen, I come to you bearing bad news. A great threat to your domain. It seems the wandering near is wandering nearer, and from it flows a great gray, more monochromatic than the storm-gray teacup sea."
From what has it taken the color? The flame of your candle burns strange.
This candle is made from beeswax that I harvested from the larch wood. Yellow normally, but gray today. The wandering near seems to have formed its center near the lonely mountain and spread as far as the larch wood. It threatens the Bowery next, and in a matter of days will reach the long hall.
It is the nature of autumn that things change color, but most unnatural that color should disappear altogether. What are we without the golds and reds and oranges and browns and greens? You've come to the right place, Jack. You've come a long way, too, it sounds. If you might set your weary feet here, under the rules of hospitality, we grant you that. I shall journey forth to determine the source of this.
"My queen, can we accompany you?" The cat knights, you hear, the wingmen, you hear noseveral of your champions all sort of voice up, "Let us help, Queen Aubrey."
Yes, let us help you.
We can probably help, I think. What do you think?
I look at the revelers, not wishing to disturb the feast that they have traveled all this way and worked so hard to prepare, but I do turn to my trusted advisors. Sir Hedgehog, I would travel nowhere without you.
"Well, you'll have a hard time leaving me behind, my queen."
And old Great Aunt Alder, would you join as well?
"Of course, Queen. It'd be an honor."
I need your knowledge of plants, if indeed we are to return the color to them.
Well, I doubt there's much that I know that you don't by now, but I'd be happy to lend whatever aid I can.
What I know is what you've taught me. Therefore, I cannot imagine knowing more. Yet it is kind of you to say.
"Queen, should I bring the other hedge knights with us, or are we to ride fast tonight?"
Speed is of the essence. Jack, how quickly does it spread? How much time do we have?
"It seems to cover a league every time you look away."
Then we shall need our eyes upon it as quickly as possible.
"Just so, north towards the lonely mountain."
So we will ride. And I tap my scepter and whistle, knowing that having done so, to the opened door that Lantern Jack has flung open will be a Roosevelt elk, a trusty steed for such an occasion. I, accompanied by a small group of my retinue, walk down the hall, not even looking back over my shoulder. This is the place I return to at the end of every one of these adventures. It is comfortable to me after 40 winks and 30 more here. It was the destination of my first adventure here, when I clambered through the ruins all those years ago. While there are many threats to the autumn lands, almost like clockwork, it's the nature of places to change. It is the nature of threats to be righted. And I don't think too hard about the fact that I live in a amber, frozen monument to the idea of something coming after this, because there's just enough adventure to break that up. And I don't need to think about that, because there's a problem that I have to fix. And so I leap onto my elk. I don't need a saddle. That's for humans. And I'm a Fey queen, and I'm riding north.
With every step the elk takes north, your hedge knight and alderman at your side.
Yeah, I think she's like an old crone, like a cool old crone who makes potions and sort of herbs, like an herb lore lady with a big cauldron. But I don't think she can bring the cauldron because we're going quickly. Sorry. Sorry, Auntie Alder.
The two of them managing to keep pace no matter how quickly this elk moves, following this candle, where as you move further north, it burns more and more brightly. And every time you need to deviate from heading straight north towards the current center of the Wandering Near, towards the Lonely Mountain, when you go wide to find an easier crossing across a river that's meandering through your domain, the candle burns a little more dimly, reinforcing that north is where you're meant to be right now.
Well, if a candle tells me I'm meant to be somewhere, who am I to doubt the candle? When do I see the first draining of color?
As the first light of dawn stretches out across the autumn lands, you see off in the distance as the land starts to rise up to meet this impossibly tall mountain that, if it were on Earth, would pierce through the atmosphere and rise into outer space. As the land rises up to meet this mountain, the forests that are closer to you are green and red and yellow and turning continually. But on the slopes, they turn gray well before the tree line.
Up ahead, do you see it?
Of course, my queen.
That's where we're going.
A dark place. A dangerous place.
Certainly. We should be prepared for anything. Indeed, we must be, if we are to restore things. Keep an eye out for lockets, chests, jars, things that might contain colors within them. As you know, they can be spun away like yarn, or pulled away as single glimmers. They could be captured as inks, kept in vials, or they might be spun into memories or songs, kept in a pool that's reflective. Anything that can contain may contain the color. We simply must discover it and unlock it.
My queen, I have every confidence that you'll do it, and you can count on me to keep my eyes sharp for danger.
Thank you, Sir Hedge. You have the best eye for danger of anyone I know. As we approach the tree line, I know that if we go above it, we may not be able to tell if the colors have come flooding back or if they've gone to the wrong places. Heaven forbid. That happens sometimes. Things get a little mixed up. So I will grab a handful of leaves from one of the trees, one with my Aunt Alder's advisory, one from each tree that bears leaves of different colors, so that if things are set right, one will turn red, one yellow, one orange, one brown, one green.
As the trio makes their way up and up and up, you're briefly stopped by a brutish troll.
Excuse me. Do you have a mountain pass? Are you allowed? Oh my goodness. It's the queen. I'm sorry I stopped you.
The mountain has many passes. I simply wish to make use of one.
Yes. Go on with it. I don't need to see any papers from you. Go on ahead.
It's all very well, Gander. Thank you for your diligence.
And the party continues up and up the mountain. My liege, you must be careful up ahead, for here is where I encountered the rock slide. They can be very deceptive. Be careful. Trust the candle. Not any speaking stones.
I shall. I thank you for your advice, and hopefully I will not need to call upon the stones for aid, but should I will take their answers in the precise opposite way that they are intended, and thus shall make my way safely.
You climb up and up, following the candle's light, and it flares at the mouth of a cave, well before you reach the tree line.
Oh. I'd sort of assumed that it would just be at the peak of the mountain. That's sort of how these things normally work. Well, I'm a little bit thrown for the first time. I had sort of assumed it would just be at the top of the mountain because that's where things begin and are resolved.
I was expecting that as well, Your Majesty.
But very well. We shan't need to use the winged chimes then to climb the rest of the way. I pat the elk. You don't like flying much, so perhaps it's for the best.
Leans down and takes a munch off of some of the moss growing.
Does it taste very good, even without any green in it?
Good enough.
All right.
Sustenance without flavor.
I'm going to give you an important job, which is to help when watching the mouth of the cave while I go in. Do you think you can do that?
Of course, my liege.
Very well. I give the elk a little pat, and I turn to my other two companions. If one of you would care to join me, you may, but another should stand guard.
And the two companions look at each other, and then they rock, paper, scissors for it.
That's how we do things here. That was one of my first decrees as queen, is we do rock, paper, scissors on scissors rather than on shoot. It was a big problem for a little bit.
Your hedge knight manages to win the toss, throwing rock as he always does. Lead the way, my queen.
All right. And from Radon Alder, I would ask a small bag of seeds that we can leave in our trail. You will recognize them and could follow us should things be strange or hard to return. Thus we can follow the trail we've left should we need to return to you.
Of course, my dear. Here, she hands you a bag of pine seeds that she's collected, pine nuts. I'll rest my bones here with your mount, and should you not return before the sun reaches the horizon, I'll follow you in and make sure you're safe.
It is very kind of you. If your bones need greater rest, do not worry. We shall get to the bottom of this, whatever bottom this cave has. And I tentatively toss one of the pine seeds, one of the nuts, to the ground, and it immediately sprouts a teeny tiny bit. I tentatively toss another one a foot in front of me, the same thing. It springs up. I nod approvingly and begin with the candle in one hand. I tuck the scepter into my belt and give Sir Hedgehog the bag of seeds to mark our path.
The two of you walk into this cave. The only light, this dim gray.
I have to duck because I'm very tall.
You find yourself walking between walls of stone that narrow and narrow until you have to squeeze and shimmy sideways. The quills of your hedge knight proving difficult for him to squeeze through. He starts to fall a little bit behind. Aubrey rounds a corner and realizes that the stone has changed to polished steel, and that the candle in her hand has gone. It was there one moment, and it was gone the next. And instead of pale candlelight, the light from an overcast sky fills the cave.
I just see, looking back at myself, not well lit anymore by the candle, my reflection from dozens of angles. What reflection do I see?
A young girl wearing overalls. Her hair unkempt, her sweater the orange of an autumn leaf beneath the blue denim.
I touch my face and I feel pimples on it, which we don't have here. So it's probably a mirror curse. Maybe the mirror is pulling things in. It's taking all the color, and I went through it.
Holding up the leaves that she took as a signal.
I'm so short. Why am I so short?
The leaves are gray, but you can see the color of your own outfit. And you can see the green of clover as it grows on the ground.
I look behind me. Can I go back the way I came?
Yes.
Okay.
Edging back towards where Aubrey expects her hedge knight to be, she emerges from between these steel walls into the open air of Ruins Park in Foxglove.
Sir Hedgehog, it's a memory trap of some kind. It's capturing the memories of things.
People flying kites on the nearby hill look down at this young girl who's shouting things that make no sense, and then continue on with their days, just flying their kites, being with their families.
I turn back and I go back the way I came.
Shimmying between this pair of steel walls as far as she can go brings her out in a disconcerting way, precisely where she entered.
I notice I have a little scratch on my arm, but it's not a sort of cool, interesting scratch of someone who's seen battles and gone on adventures. Just kind of an ugly scrape.
As you look at that,
Rub my arm.
you look at your right arm where that scratch is, and in your right hand you see the leaves that you had plucked with color returning to them.
Okay, well then I fixed it. We fixed it. We can go home now. I fixed it. Sir Hedge. I fixed it, right? Right?
Aubrey! Aubrey!
Dad?
Aubrey, we're gonna head home!
Dad? Why are you here in my memory, Dad? Oh,
Oh, hey, kiddo. You ready to head home? Making
this
ramen
isn't
for dinner
you.
tonight?
This isn't you. This is part of the mirror. I think it caught me in exchange for the color. I'm sorry.
What?
It's good to see you again, but I know that you're not real. And that's okay. That's okay. If you want to come back with me, maybe you could be a different memory. I gesture him and then I try to head back into the ruins.
Hey, kiddo, we don't have time to go exploring right now. I need to make dinner. Your mom's expecting us.
Where?
At home, of course.
Yeah. But if you were my real dad, you would know where that is.
731 Spring Crest.
I take a little too long trying to remember if that's actually the right address.
Kiddo, you okay? I know you were up reading late last night.
What day is it?
Thursday?
What do
He
you
puts
remember?
his hand on your forehead to check for a fever. Are you feeling okay? You look a little pale.
I'm all right. I just need to get back home because I think I fixed it, but I need to check on...
Well, okay, if you want to go home. And he sort of squats down in a position to sort of pick you up for a piggyback ride. Look, I know it's been a minute, but maybe this will help you feel better?
She just looks at him bug-eyed.
Oh, come on, you're not too big for a piggyback ride.
I think I am.
I know you're a big grown-up teenager now, but your old man can still give you a piggyback ride. Come on, kiddo.
I'm not a teenager.
We flash forward in this memory to Halloween. A few months after school has started, all the kids in school have shown up in their costumes, ghosts, ballerinas, professional wrestlers, and Aubrey.
I made my costume. It's the flower crown that I've been wearing to school every day, so that's not very strange for anyone else. But my parents let me wear the other stuff that I made and found. A green poncho that I cut into fairy wings, some old coats and caftans layered on top of each other, and a stick I found that feels really nice to hold. It doesn't feel comfortable. I tried to do my hair in braids before I slept so that it would fall the way that I remember. And I didn't even need to do that back then. But everything just takes more effort, and nobody believes me, and I just want to feel like myself again.
A group of girls walk past. Oh, look, it's Aubrey. And what are you supposed to be, Aubrey? Are you the queen of the junkyard? Your costume looks like trash.
The Queen of the Autumn Lands, actually.
And What movie is that from?
It's not from a movie, it's from real life.
Of course it is. And they form sort of a semicircle.
You wouldn't last a minute there. You would be turned to stone, or your voice would be stolen by a pipe organ, or you would sink into sand and just become lightning glass.
Stump, queen of the dump. Looks good on you.
Just you wait. When I get my powers back, I will show you great kindness and mercy. Because it is the place of autumn to understand that winter is cold.
When she gets her powers back, she's going to be nice to us. Do you hear that, Melody?
Where's Mara?
Oh, are you expecting Miss Thing to show up and protect you? I thought you were a mighty and powerful queen. Looks like somebody else threw you out in the trash, huh?
In my head, I know that they listen to Mara about stuff like this, and normally it doesn't go on for this long before she notices and tells them to break it off. So I've never actually thought about what I'd say once I got to this point. I hold my staff in one hand, and in the other one I tense my hand and sort of the muscles in it so hard that I can feel the blood moving through them and the pulse of the blood moving through my hand, as if having something moving through my hand means it must be magic. And I try to just a little curse, just to switch their voices. Under the spark-filled sky and rocks that lie, I make this wish, thy voices switch. I flick my hand.
Melody, I think she thinks she's a witch.
No, I know I'm not a witch.
The bell rings, and teachers all sort of file out into the hallways and start trying to chivvy people along to their classes. Happy Halloween, Trash Queen.
Can't believe I'm surrounded by children. I go to sit on a swing.
And there's a sort of camera transition showing a close-up of Aubrey's face as she sits, but the background shifts so that we can see she's in her bedroom at home. And she's sitting there having just heard her parents argue about how best to help her understand which reality is real. And it turned into a bit of a shouting match that she could hear from her room upstairs.
I fall back on the bed and look up at the little plastic glow-in-the-dark stars that I have on my ceiling, knowing that this might be the last time I see them because they're probably going to come and take those out tomorrow, like they did with some of the more fantastical books, some of the movies and little amulets and things. In the autumn lands, the constellations would always point you where you needed to go. They'd always look like the things that they were supposed to be in the shape of, too. Not like a square that was supposed to be in a bear. It'd actually kind of be in the shape of a bear. And maybe this is... How much of this could all be part of the magic throwing me back here, right? How much of this is a test to make me appreciate things more when I get back? Maybe I got complacent? I can't help but feel like my parents are being really immature about this, but also, I guess I get where they're coming from, based on what they know. If they had seen the leaves when they were gray, they would understand, but they turned back to color so quickly. If I had shown them, if I could get them proof, then maybe they would understand what's going on.
And we see Aubrey climbing out her window, hopping on her bike, and riding across town in the dark back to Ruins Park.
In the Halloween costume still. There's a few kids from my grade there with their parents having a sort of barely sanctioned teen Halloween party, maybe with some of the older siblings, some high schoolers. Then I ride up on my bike. I walk up to the party. They're all singing and jeering, and it seems like they're having fun.
They're singing the latest hit from David Bowie, I think.
And I just storm through.
Squeezing your way back into the labyrinth that you emerged from. Seeing the stars overhead, seeing yourself reflected. There's always a little bit too much light in here, more than the ambient area. It's like the ruins want to make sure that you see yourself reflected in them.
All I can see is the fact that for everything I'm wearing. I don't look like how I used to look. I don't look the way I know I should look. I don't look the way I looked for, I don't know, at least 40 of the 70 winks. My ears are really round, and my skin is really bad, and I'm really short, and my voice keeps cracking. And everyone around me is a kid, but they treat me like I'm a kid. And anything I try to say to convince them is not going to work. So maybe I just need to find evidence, or maybe they're beyond help and I just need to get home. And I just start looking for anything, any dips, anything to get me deeper. I start listening to see if I can hear the sounds of Sir Hedgehog. And after a beat, I take my staff and I try to hit one of the panels. Because if it's a mirror, maybe it'll break. And then all the color will come back to my life. And things will go back to the way they should be.
As Aubrey strikes this panel, you expect it to make a sound. But it's as if the material absorbs all of the impact. So it's more like hitting a pillow than hitting a steel wall. There's no sound. And there's no sense of beckoning, like so many people always describe as they walk in the ruins.
I hit it again. And again. And again, and when my arms are too sore because my arms are very weak right now, and I get tired easily, which I don't like, I think that maybe I can trade it something. Maybe, a song for safe passage or something like that. I try to sing to it. Oh, change is the way. I'll be back tomorrow, I was back today. Oh, change is the thing. My heartbeats and footfalls are all I might bring. I wait for the swell of music from the animals or a lift in the wind, and I wait for something to happen, because that's what happens when you sing. Is magic.
And the disappointments of that night and the frustration of looking for this dog blend together as Aubrey finds herself back in that same spot, squeezing between these walls, when out from the labyrinth runs a beagle, practically tackling Aubrey with its exuberance at seeing a person.
Hey, Gracie! Gracie, oh wow. You really, you don't know this, but you were hiding in a spot where I once spent several hours crying. So that was nice of you. You're a great dog. I'd ask you about your perceived passage of time, but I don't think you'll listen. Yeah, I hope you're doing okay.
She flops down on her back and offers you her belly to rub.
Yeah, give her a belly rub. Just sort of sit down. And I can't, whenever I'm in this space, I try to not look for something because I know that's the only way I'll find it. But I can't help, every time I think I see something in the corner of my eye or my reflection, just turning to see if it's there. Because maybe I'll catch it. And I have enough here that I'm not trying to run back through, really. I don't think. But I can't help but look.
What does Aubrey see as she looks in the reflection now?
In her focused vision, she sees herself with clearish eyes, physically maybe 25, hair that she doesn't put any effort into maintaining because it doesn't look the way she wants anyway, so why try? Bowling shirt with a canvas coat on top of it. Better skin than when she was 13, not as tall as she'd like to be, but still relatively tall. Anything's a disappointment when you used to be 8 feet. But, she's got the bones and the heart that have carried her through the worst of it. So, can't be too hard on herself for what she's changed into. And that's what she sees when she focuses. And in the peripheral vision where she's not focusing, she's sure it's her. Maybe turning to look. Just someone maybe checking in on her, seeing if she's okay. Maybe it's who she used to be. But when she turns and looks, it's just her. She sits there for a while with the dog, not entirely comfortable, but trying to make a memory there that is neither the single most incredible thing that has ever happened to her, nor the single second most incredible thing that has ever happened to her. Just something okay and a little normal, but a little bit weird.
The warmth of a dog lying against her leg as she sits in the clover lasts a moment, and then Aubrey clips a leash onto Gracie.
Let's get you home.
Aubrey Stump is played by Camilla Franklin, who also creates all of the art and visual design elements for the show. Find her on Instagram at CamillaStrader. If you're in Seattle, you can find her and Lauren both improvising Shakespearean comedies and tragedies in the few weeks after this drops with Sound and Fury at CSz Seattle. All the music for this episode was created live in the room by Noah Samuels. Find him on Instagram at Samuels_Noah. And I'm Helix. Connect with me and the cast of our show on our Discord, and follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at RPG Major. If you like our oddball little show, you can support us on Patreon, and by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or most importantly, by telling a friend about it. Especially that friend who's a theater kid in an adult body. I think they're really going to like this show. All right, we'll see you next time. I'm trying to think of more mountain puns. Like avalanche.
Yeah, I was
nothing
just
like
avalanche.
Yeah.
Rock slide.
Avalanche.
Rocks
Avalanche. Rock slide.
This is a pun-based economy.